Hey, hey, beautiful world. You are listening to and watching Magical Things with Radleigh Valentine right here on Magical HHTV. Well, my version of it anyway. If you're tuning in via radio or listening to an archive, then let me explain. Today, I am not just broadcasting over the airways, I'm also live streaming Magical Things on Facebook and Instagram. Now, I have a lot of new students in my brand new video course, the Certified Angel Tarot Reader, and I thought my students would like to see how radio here at Hay House is done. I thought those of you not in the course might also like to have a sneak peek. Now, if you're listening to this in the archives, you'll be able to watch the show on my Facebook page and later on my YouTube page. I've long teased, though really I'm totally serious, that I'd love for there to be Hay House TV. I mean, right? Right. So this is as close as I can come right now. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. I have all of my professional quality equipment provided by Hay House here in my home office. Now this is all linked directly to high-speed internet. On this PC, you can't quite see it, but there's a PC right here, we have what is called the stack. And it's called the stack because it stacks up all of the people who are currently calling in. And it's that fast that all the phone lines are already filled up. That's why we also do the Facebook posts, because we want to give people an opportunity to be able to communicate for the other people who are so lightning fast that they can get on that quickly. So let's see what else. Now there's a place also on here where I can type notes to my wonderful producers, Michael and Rachel. And there's also a countdown clock that tells me that right now we have 52 minutes and 40 seconds left in the show. That's how we start the show exactly on time and also end the show exactly on time. So I also have right here a Mac Air, because I'm a real big Mac head, I really am. And so on the Mac is where I can go and look for the questions that people have posted and the reading requests that they've posted on Facebook. So for those of you who want to do that, you can do that. But I'll also be trying to grab some questions and stuff from people who are typing into Facebook Live and Instagram. So there are two cameras, all right? So you'll see my eyes kind of going back and forth. Hi, George Lisos. So that happens that. I've got my little notes here. This is how I make sure that I stay on top of things. Also, I've got my cards. All of my cards are right here. All the decks that I've created are right here so that I can easily grab them. My notes for getting angel messages, they're all right here so that I can write this stuff down. And also, my cell phone. And my cell phone is there because my social media manager is always listening and now watching what I'm doing. And so she might text me and say, Radleigh, we can't hear you, or Radleigh, there's a problem with the video, or Radleigh, there's some other issue. And so that's all there. And then behind me, I've got my genie bottles. Let's see if I can show you. There they are, because the spiritual genie has to have his genie bottles, right? So this is what doing Hay House Radio is like. Isn't this cool? So I thought you guys would like to see that. So what I wanted to do is I also kind of wanted to just sort of kind of get you started. Oh, by the way, I'm dressed for radio. So I don't dress up all fancy and stuff to do radio. Although it's really silly, because you know what I did? Here's what I did. I went and I spent all this time, I made my hair all nice and fluffed up and fixed it all, and then came downstairs and went, I have to wear headphones. Isn't that silly? But I'm just so used to, you know, the social media live streaming where you fix your hair and you try to look all nice and stuff. But anyway, so that's that. Okay, so for those of you who want to try and call in, you can still try at 866-254-1579. For international callers, dial your country code and 760-918-4300. So once again, we have those the option of the Facebook posts so that people can post in questions there. But we will be trying to take questions from all of the different places. From all the different places. So let's see, where shall we start? Thank you, Audrey. That's really sweet. I love that. Love the shirt. Thank you. It's Etro. I love Etro. It's one of my favorite brands. It's very expensive, and I can bear. This is the only one I have. It was a gift, but that's okay. I love it. All right. So let's see. So Luna would like a relationship, reading on her relationship. So what I'm going to do for that is I think I'm going to reach over to Guardian Angel Tarot cards. So Guardian Angel Tarot cards, and let's see what we get for Luna on her relationship. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So the first card that we have is Messenger of Thought. Messenger of Thought. And so Messenger of Thought is a card where we've kind of had some news that we didn't really like. So one of the things, I don't know if Luna is asking for a question because she's in a relationship, or if Luna is asking for a question because she would like to be in a relationship. And so we're going to read the cards both ways, and so that we make sure that we give Luna exactly the information that she is looking for. So the first card is Messenger of Thought. So if Luna is not in a relationship, then this could be a situation where past relationships have sort of kind of soured her a little bit towards relationships. Or perhaps she's in a situation where she kind of is having a lot of negative thoughts about relationships and thinking, oh, it's never going to happen for me, or, you know, I always pick the wrong person, or something along those lines. Now, if Luna is in a relationship, then this card would sort of indicate that some words have been exchanged that were not particularly pleasant, were not particularly the kind of things that Luna wanted to hear. All right, so the next card is Nine of Action. Nine of Action. So if Luna is in a relationship, then this is a really reassuring card, because it really does sort of tell us don't give up just yet. Because Nine of Action really is a card that talks about protect all of the things that you have created. Don't just let them be torn away from you. Instead, stick with it. Now, if Luna is not in a relationship, that's okay too, because this is a card that basically says, you know what? Believe in yourself. Believe in the things that you have created. Believe in the person that you have become. And don't let, just because some bad things have happened in the past in relationships, don't let that tear you down. You still have a lot of wonderful things to provide to people, and you should really believe in that. But also, it's like, be in a place of solid dedication that you have decided, I am absolutely not going to get into a relationship where I settle anymore. I am holding out for the right one, for the best one, knowing that it will happen. And it will happen, because what do we have? We have Guardian of Emotion. Guardian of Emotion. Now for you, Angel Tarot card fans, this is the same as the King of Water. And what does Radleigh always say about King of Water? This is the one you keep, right? This is the one you marry. So if Luna is not in a relationship, and so therefore she's asking about being in one, this tells us a really wonderful thing for her. Look, something great is coming. Something great is coming. So that's awesome. That's super awesome. If she is in a relationship, then this also says that by not giving up, the relationship is going to come back to a really solid, heartfelt place. So there you go, Luna. Hope that is helpful. Okay, so Heart Talk is watching from the Philippines, and she is saying, I would like to know any info on my career. All right, so now see, when you do radio, you have to kind of be careful. You got to keep your face in the mic. Because if you don't, then this is what happens. See what it is, right? So you have to do that. So you gotta keep your face in the mic. All right, so career. So for career, I'm gonna go, I feel like I wanna go to Fairy Tarot cards. So this is where I'm going next, Fairy Tarot cards. And let's see what we have for our friend in the Philippines. Okay, so the first card is the Princess of Winter. Now, this is interesting because this is the equivalent in Fairy Tarot cards of the first card that we got in the spread. Hi, Kyle. My friend Kyle Gray just, no, I have to say it right. My friend Kyle Gray just tuned in. So hi, Kyle. So anyway, so this is the Princess of Winter. So this is the same card just from, I love you too. So this is the first card from the same, it's a different version of the same card that we just had for the first reading that we did, all right? So again, this is getting information that's sort of in a way that we don't really like. So perhaps you've gotten some information about your career or things haven't been going quite the way you want them to in your career. But don't let that sort of like throw you too much. It's also a card that really does sort of say, if you don't like the messenger, that's groovy, fine, but keep the message. So it's a message that you've gotten some information that you needed. You've gotten some information that you needed, but it might not have felt so great. But that's all right, because the next card is Two of Spring. Now this is a card of partnership. It's also, and I don't mean partnership of a romantic, well it can be, but usually if it's a romantic partnership, this is the gay card. But that's not what we're talking about. So this is a card of partnership. So this is a card that basically sort of says that it might be really helpful to you to get someone to help you with your new career. You might need a mentor. You might need somebody to kind of teach you some new stuff that you don't really understand. Instagram, I'm going to get back to you. So anyway, on Two of Spring, so it's partnership. So finding a partner, someone to help you with the business, someone to help you learn about business, someone to help you learn more about what you're trying to do with your business, someone that can kind of help you with the partnership. And that's really great because the last card is Prince of Winter. And so if you do this, if you find someone to kind of help you with to partnership with you in your business or get you the information that you're sort of missing, that information can include things like marketing or how to do things technically or getting yourself set up on the internet or things like that where you need some help. If you do that, things are going to really start to fly. This is the Prince of Winter. So fastest moving energy in all of tarot. And so this is a card that really can sort of tells you that get the help and things will take off. All right, so there you go. So I have to do, so someone on Instagram just said that they just wanted a reading, any kind of information at all, but I couldn't help it because one of the things I love about Instagram is that the names that people choose on Instagram are just so hilarious and so fun and so wild. It's not like, Radleigh Valentine on Facebook, although that's my moniker on Instagram too, but this person's name was I Will Touch Your Dog. I'm sorry, that's just perfect. I love that. How I feel about dogs. You can't see it on Instagram, but on Facebook it's up there. See? All right, so let's find out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the reading from animal tarot cards, right? Maybe we'll get a dog. Who knows? All right, let's see what we have for I Will Touch Your Dog. Okay. And one. Well, no dogs, but that's okay. So the first card is the Chariot. And one of the things, so take a look at this. This is definitely a new take on this particular card because we sort of what I wanted to do was I wanted to get the horses out of pulling the chariot and into being in charge of the chariot. Now think about that for a minute, because what this card symbolizes is being able to be a success at something, being able to be a success at something, and it's being a success by being able to balance out multiple different types of energies or multiple different opposing forces. But what we said was, if you do that, then you get to be in the driver's seat, right? See the symbolism in that? So it's a different take. It's a totally different take. These are Arabian horses, and so that's great. So I think, though, because this card is kind of in the past, I think you've already put yourself a little bit in the driver's seat in your life right now, and that's really good. And I got to tell you, the next two cards are incredibly positive. Dog toucher. So they're incredibly positive. So the first card is King of Autumn. King of Autumn, all right? So this is a Gypsy Vanner horse. Isn't it beautiful? But look at the abundance, the cornucopia in the front that we have brought into this card. So this is a time where abundance starts to really roll in for Dog Toucher. And this is exemplified by the fact that we have the Empress as an Angora bunny. Well, Angora bunnies are all about fertility, but also abundance. And so we've got some traditional symbolism in here. You'll see the Venus on the heart, the glyph for Venus on the heart. But in the background, what do you see? What do you see in the very background? You see a dragonfly. And dragonflies are all about balancing the emotional with the mental, because they live in the air and they live in the water. They live in both places during their lifespan. So this is a really good card. But now, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work and taking action. This is getting to enjoy that. But then from there, you got to get back to work. So there you go. Someone asked, can you get Animal Tarot cards right now? They are actually shipping from Barnes & Noble. So if you want them right now, you go to Barnes & Noble and you can get them. I Will Touch Your Dog just said spot on. Yay, spot on. I'm glad. All right. So let's see what is cooking on Facebook in the post. Let's see. Need to refresh the page. See, this is where you have all these things to do. It's a lot of multitasking, isn't it, Kyle? Especially when you do it live on Instagram. Okay, let's see. Okay, sorry, it's just taking a second. So Vicky says, hi Vicky, hello, I'm excited to see you live. Well, thank you. I've been a hospice volunteer for over a year, and it is a clear, distinct calling and an honor. Well, no kidding, so thank you. My mother passed away in hospice, and I know how amazing you people are and the amazing things that you do. And honest to gosh, I don't know what we would have done without you guys. So my heart goes out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the things that you do for people. We're truly grateful, truly grateful. All right, so what's your question? It lights me up, yay. Any message for me on how I can take this deep or anything around this field for me? The thing, Vicky, too, is one of the things that Vicky just taught us is that when you are doing what you love and when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you light up. That's what happens. And that's how you know that you're doing the right thing. I adore what I do. It makes me light up. If you've ever, since Kyle's here, if you've ever seen Kyle Gray on stage, he lights up. That's how you know that you are absolutely doing the very thing that you're supposed to be doing. So let's see what advice we might get if we went to Angel Tarot cards for Vicky. So the angels asked me to shuffle 7 times for Vicky. So that tells me that the number 7 means you are on the right path. You're on the right path. All right? So, all right. So what we have here is the first card is 5 of water. Now, 5 of water this is an interesting card because it doesn't seem to fit. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get it in both cameras. It doesn't seem to fit with what Vicky just said. But this is the past. This is the past. And this is a card where things are not what you would hope them to be. So perhaps finding this position of working with hospice, Vicky felt like life wasn't what she wanted it to be. She felt like her career was wrong. She didn't like what she was doing, or she felt unfulfilled in some form or fashion. And she just absolutely wasn't happy. So the next card is 4 of water. So this is a card that talks about feeling wanting to open your eyes. It literally says, open your eyes to the possibilities. And that it really does sort of fit with what is going on with Vicky, because even though this card has a general sense of something kind of slightly different, this card it does say, open your eyes to possibilities, and that's what Vicky is trying to do. Now, that being said, if you could see, I can't get it in both places, so I'm going to go to Facebook camera because that's where Vicky is. So, Vicky, if you can see this card, what do we have? We have a mermaid, and she's very focused on 3 cups, but there's another cup over here that is lit up. It's lit up. And that sort of tells me that there is a new opportunity headed your way. Now, because, oh, right, remember, what did you say? It makes me light up. Duh. That's it. It makes you light up. You are opening your eyes to new opportunities for the thing that makes you light up. So, yay, that's really good. So the next card is 6 of air, 6 of air, all right? So this is a really fun card because this is a card that tarot always tells a story. And so the story of the cards of the Ace of air, the 2 of air, the 3 of air, the 4 of air, all of these are cards that are the 5 of air. These are cards that are not, that are challenging. And so when we get to the 6 of air, things really start to take off. And in fact, we literally named this boat Novus, which is Latin for new, And so this card really does talk about things starting to look up. So this card also says taking a trip. So this makes me wonder if there might be an opportunity for you to learn at a different facility as well, or to take some classes or travel somewhere where you could learn something that you could bring into this career that you so much love. But definitely things are going to start to take off for you. All right, so for those of you who are just tuning in on Facebook and Instagram, we are watching the Magical Things with Radleigh Valentine radio show. You're watching radio. So we're watching the Magical Things with Radleigh Valentine radio show. For those of you who are not on social media, what we are doing is you're listening to me talk about the fact that I'm also streaming live on these 2 different platforms. All right, so let's go back to Instagram. So, okay, come on guys, you're going too fast. Okay, so Angel Age 1 says, what should I focus on? Angel Age 1. So I'm going to go to Archangel Power Tarot cards for that. What should we be focusing on? Angel Age 1. Oh, put the cards away, Radleigh. Angel Age 1. So the first card is Knight of Michael. So that kind of tells me that this is the same as the Prince of Winter that we saw a little bit earlier. This is very, very, very fast energy. This is very fast energy. So for Angel Age 1s, things may have been moving rather quickly, but that's stopped, okay? Because this is the past. So things had been moving really, really quickly, but things are not moving so quickly anymore. The next card is Six of Ariel, and Six of Ariel really is a card about getting some balance. If you can see, I'm going to put it in the Instagram camera. So you can see that here we have Archangel Ariel, and there's a couple of baskets of apples that are hanging from either side of a tree, and everything is perfectly balanced. And so it sounds to me like Angel Age, like you might need some more balance in your life. Does that make sense? Some more balance. And then finally we have, King of Michael. King of Michael. Stay in your integrity. Stay in your integrity. But this is also a card that says it's okay. Again, there's always a theme. And one of the themes that we're starting to see today is this theme of, oh my gosh, it's okay to ask for help. It's really important that you ask for help, actually. So ask for help from someone that's really knowledgeable, someone that's really wise, someone that has a lot of experience in what you are wanting to do. This person is not necessarily warm and fuzzy. It's not necessarily someone who's very emotional or anything like that. But that's okay. We're just getting advice. We're not looking for a husband. That's not what this is. You do not want to marry this guy. Okay? He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a great guy. But he's emotionally unavailable. And so unless you really like that, you don't want to marry this guy. You're just wanting his wisdom, his counsel, his extreme ability to give you good guidance. That's why you want to talk to this guy. So get some life balance. Get some life balance. And you might need to get some assistance in how to do that. One of the things, and one of the ways that might turn out, for example, is right now, my life is just crazy. It's crazy good. It's crazy, crazy, crazy good. I'm super happy and excited about all the things that are happening in my life, but it's intense. It's a lot. And so my husband and I have to spend time to think about, okay, how are we going to help Radleigh have more balance because he's got too much to do? And so could be something like that. So we're reaching out to other people and reaching out to other options and opportunities to find ways to bring balance so that I can do create, and be free to do that because that's what I'm supposed to do. All right, so where are we? Okay, so it is time for us to start to take some calls. So let's see. I've got to get caught up on all of these. Okay, so let's talk to Rocco. Hi, Rocco. Welcome to Magical Things. Thank you. Thank you. What can I do for you? This is the time. Okay, so let me get the folks who are on social media caught up. So we'll have Rocco on the line, and because they can't hear you. so Rocco is in a relationship that's rather controlling and is not feeling particularly good to him. He feels that he has been a very good person in this relationship. It's not like he is stepping out on anybody. He's always there to return phone calls. So he doesn't understand the mistrust. But he's getting kind of exhausted by it and is starting to think, well, you know what, maybe this just isn't the right thing for me, maybe because maybe it's just not the right relationship. Maybe I should move on. So I am going to grab Angel Tarot cards. then we're going to see what we get for Rocco on this particular point. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so do you know anything about tarot, Rocco? Okay. Sure. Okay. So he said he knows a little bit, kind of what everybody knows. He works more with the oracle cards. So in tarot there are 5 suits, and one of those suits is called the Major Arcana, and it's 22 cards that are all about the big things that happen in our life. And it's quite unusual for there to be a reading, even a 3-card reading, where all the cards are Major Arcana. Guess what yours are? And so the part of the reason why I think that this has happened for you is because when a reading is all Major Arcana cards, it means that this really is an important moment. This is an important thing that you have asked. And so the first card for you is balance. It's balance. But this card is sitting in the past, and this matches what you said. There is no balance in this relationship right now. It's just, and one of the things you said, as you know from looking at oracle cards, that it can also be about the picture. But what do we see here? In this particular situation, we have this archangel, and the archangel is pouring water back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between the 2 cups, which is kind of what's going on with this relationship for you. Water is emotion, and there's this sort of back and forth going on without actually, and the balance has left us because this is the past. Now the next card, this also makes perfect sense with what you said, because it's the Emperor. And if anybody in the Major Arcana is controlling, it's the Emperor. All right? It's not that the Emperor has no heart. The Emperor does have heart. But the Emperor wants everything a certain way and has a tendency to just want to be in control about everything. Does this make sense? Okay. Yeah, cool. Well, here's the thing. The last card is the Chariot. All right? The last card is the Chariot. And I mentioned this a little earlier when I was talking about animal tarot cards. The Chariot is a card that talks about trying to keep in balance or in control 2 opposing forces. That's just the word I always use, opposing forces. And so are you watching this online too? Okay. I wondered if there would be. Are you on Facebook or Instagram? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so see the guy in the Chariot? Yeah, that's you. That's you trying to keep these 2 opposing forces together, all right? The thing about it is you could probably do it. You could probably make it happen. But who wants a relationship to be that much work? And the work is kind of all on you. Right. So Rocco is basically saying that his girl was in relationships where she couldn't be trusted. And so now she's sort of turned over a new leaf in a lot of things. And what she's basically doing is she is projecting onto Rocco a sense of he can't be trusted when he actually absolutely can be trusted. So this is stuff that's going on within her that she is projecting outward onto you, instead of being in a situation where she just would trust you. To me, Rocco, this relationship is a lot of work. It's not going to be less work. It's just going to continue being a lot of work, because this is the future card. So, you can hold it together if you want to keep doing this. But if you don't want to keep doing this, time to move on. You all right? Okay. Yes, So let's just take a look at that really quickly. So naturally, Rocco is like, well, if I bail on this, then when will someone new come into my life? So when is an interesting question, and we're going to look at when. But first, but I'm going to I want more information than just when. I mean, I could pull a card and say 8 months. And then hang up on you. But I don't think that's actually very interesting. So let's throw 3 more cards real quick and see what we get. 2. Well, sure. But you know what? I mean, and it's like I talk a lot about this in my book that's coming out soon, How to Be Your Own Genie. And the thing about relationships is that a lot of times relationships come into our life to prepare us for the real one that's going to come into our life. All right, so here's the first card. It's 5 of Fire. This is all of the conflict that you've been going through, not only in this relationship, but in other relationships, all right? And the thing about this card is this is funny because this really does represent in a lot of ways the relationship that you are currently in, because this is a card that it says conflict with others, but more often than not, I find that this is a card where a conflict that is going on within ourselves then gets projected onto another person, and that sounds an awful lot like the relationship that you're in right now. She's got conflict going on within herself, and she's projecting that onto you. But both of these things can be true because cards are magical that way. They can say more than one thing at a time. The next thing is, well, it's not going to happen until you're free, right? So this is the card of release. And this is a card of freedom, but this is a card of freedom not just from the standpoint of you can't be in a relationship for the right person to come along, because a person who would come along for you that would be interested in you while you're still in a relationship is not the right person, right? So, but also beyond that, this is about getting free of emotional connections, not just the relationship itself, but really truly being free of this relationship and of the things that have happened in the past. And so then the last card that we get is the Moon. All right, the Moon. And this is I'm sorry. Okay, good. Well, this is the Moon, and this is where suddenly the epiphany comes, where things that have been hidden from us suddenly reveal themselves to us. All right? Suddenly they reveal themselves to us. I also whenever someone asks me a when question, I also sort of take a look at that and go, okay, the last card also has an indicator for us for a win. So this, to me, for 18, this kind of tells me that you're going to be taking a break for a little bit. So it's like 18 months when someone really starts to show up in your life that is the perfect one. That does not mean that someone else isn't going to show up in your life in the meantime. But, if they do really pay attention to where they might be repeating past experiences or past cycles that you've been in, because you want to be careful of that. All right? All right. Take care, Rocco. Sure. Thanks for calling in. All right. So let's see. So let's talk to Stacy. Hi, Stacy. Welcome to Magical Things. Well, it's an honor to speak to you too, my darling. How can I help you? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So are you watching and listening or just listening? You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to be, darling. It just tells me whether which camera to look at if you're if you're watching. But you don't have to be. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use Talking to Heaven. Okay. This is one of my absolute favorite decks that Doreen Virtue created with James Van Praagh. What's the only deck she created with James Van Praagh? But you know what I mean. So I really love this deck. I love it because it provides all kinds of comfort for people without being deep into mediumship. And mediumship I'm good at. I'm really good at it. I'm also a really good accountant. But I don't want to do either one. But these cards are like it feels more like an angel reading while also getting messages from the other side. So let's see what we get for you, shall we? 2 and 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, she says, I send you loving signs through nature. Okay, I send you loving signs through nature. So what would that mean to you? Was she into nature? Did she like gardening? Did she like butterflies? Was there anything in particular that she was drawn to that was nature? Okay. Okay, so she really liked nature. She really liked being outside near trees and water. I always wonder when this card shows up because anyone who asks me for a message already knows this. But here we go. There is no such thing as death. Okay, there's no such thing as death. But I also, and my eyes are sort of being drawn to all of this down here, which is, I've not actually done that before. So it's kind of making me feel like she's there with a lot of people. Like a lot of people have preceded her in death, and so she's not alone. Oh, it was my time to go. Okay, it was my time to go. And I feel like I want to pull a fourth one. Oh, did she have pets that were in heaven ahead of her? Okay, I am surrounded by loving animals. So none of these messages say anything other than, I'm fine. I'm even sending you messages. Okay? I'm not alone. It was my time to go. I've got my pets. This is a person who is content. This is a person who is content. So one of the things that I would like to suggest that maybe you do is think about that first card a little bit more. All right? Think about what in nature would represent her. And just kind of think about it. Did she have, did she love birds? Did she love butterflies? Did she love, what did she kind of love? And then start to pay attention to that, start to look for it. And if you really can't quite come up with anything, think about what you love, all right? And then say, this was an ant, right? Okay, and then say, dear Auntie, this is the thing that I would like to get from you as a message. And then start to pay attention, okay? And she'll start sending you messages that way. I always say that heaven talks to us in the way in which we want to be talked to. And it's like, heaven doesn't care which way we pick. It just wants to talk to us. And so heaven is more than happy to hear what Stacy has to say about how Stacy wants to be spoken to. All right? You okay? Okay, thanks, Stacy. So, blessings to you, honey. So all of that resonated for her. So she's good, and she's going to pick a sign, something to tell her aunt. This is what I want to hear from you for. All right, so let's see. So let's talk to Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. Welcome to Magical Things. Yay. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So, what Jeanette is talking about is that she's feeling like she isn't getting a lot done. She feels like that she tries to accomplish things, but things aren't really getting accomplished. She feels like the day is over before she knows what happens and nothing really got done. And she's sort of asking about that. Well, one of the things that I would definitely tell you is that astrologically, it's a little choppy right now. So if you follow astrology, things have been choppy. We went through that. Eclipse was really intense for a lot of people, and a lot of people, believe it or not, are still a little thrown off from the energy from that. So you might, if you are into astrology or interested in astrology, you might want to check into how that is affecting you. If you're not into that, another thing that I might sort of suggest is that you get grounded and you also do. Do you shield and sever energetic connections on a daily basis? Ha ha, found you. So she said she doesn't. So I would really suggest that you do that, because that is very important, especially given that Jeanette has told me that she is very psychic and she's a medium. And so you're just floating around with a tether to your ankle while you're up in the air. And so and she says that's it. So it's really, you need to get regrounded. So as you probably know, but for people who are listening or watching who don't know, one of the best ways to do that is Archangel Michael. And so we can ask Archangel Michael to come into Jeanette's life, and we should ask him this every day, and ask him to ground her, ask him to sever any energetic connections that she has had to other people or to other energies, passed over loved ones or passed over people who might be trying to come and wanting to use her as a vessel to get some information. That is not necessarily a negative thing, as Jeanette knows. It's just that people, passed over people see a medium and they go, whoo, and there they are, right? Because they're like, oh, she can see me, she can talk to me, and so she can fix it. And so one of the things that I always tell people is that it's just as important to have boundaries with dead people as it is to have boundaries with alive people if you're a medium, if that is one of your gifts. And since that's one of your gifts, you need better boundaries with dead people. And one of the things that I tell, do you do this kind of work? Okay, she does do this kind of work. So, and I'm sure you probably know this, but for people who are listening or watching, it can be a learning experience. It's like you put up the closed sign when you're done at the end of the day. You basically tell spirit or passed over people, it's like, I am done for the day. If you don't leave me alone, then when I put my open sign up, I will not take your messages to your loved ones. So I will not pass them on to my clients. So this is me putting up a boundary. And make sure that they understand, no, leave me alone when I'm not working. Also, oh, honey. Okay. All right. So that you have found your own problem. What Jeanette said was that she never puts up the closed sign. She's been doing this work for a year solid without putting up the closed sign. She just lets the messages come in whenever. It's no wonder you're frazzled. It's no wonder that your house is a mess. It's because it's like you can't even think anymore. So here's what I want you to get. I want you to get an open closed sign. You can probably get it at Walmart or at Home Depot for 99 cents, anywhere. Get an open and closed sign. And you're going to determine what your hours for working are, and you are going to, when you are off work, you are going to turn that sign to closed, all right? Because we're basically using that, this is a ritual, we're using it as a symbol. And so you're going to turn over the closed sign, and you're going to start having open and closed hours. All right? And shield yourself. Sure. Archangel Michael again. So all I do is I just ask Archangel Michael. I have him sever any energetic connections to other people or places or things that are no longer of value to me at this moment. And then I ask him to wrap me in a beautiful royal blue bubble. All right. And that usually works for a good 24 hours, and just have him shield you. Now, if you're having a really hard time, you can up the ante. Yeah, and it's like my dear friend Doreen one time. It's like I was having a really stressful time with someone in my life, and she literally put a titanium steel bubble around me. Another really good one that works is a disco ball. Because what is a disco ball? It's a ball of mirrors, right? And so the energy that comes to you just bounces and reflects right back out. She's been in litigation with her ex-husband for 7 years. Now you really need a mirror ball. Yeah, you need a mirror ball. So that's, honestly, gosh, Jeanette, I'd be surprised if you were functional. This is a lot, but there's some pretty easy things you can do to sort of bring the balance back. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So Jeanette is asking me to post something on my Facebook, or Instagram, or which? What do you care? Facebook. Well, let me tell you something. She said Facebook because she's old. There's a lot of young people on Facebook, but let me tell you, Instagram is absolutely a glass of champagne. It is. It's a glass of non-alcoholic vegan champagne. And so if you are interested in another medium, Instagram is so delightful. It's so delightful. It's so happy. There's just not any of the conflict that you see on Twitter, and none of the political ads that you see on Facebook. It's just a happy place. So you might want to look into it. But yes, Jeanette, I would be more than happy to post something about grounding and about shielding and all of this stuff on my Facebook page. So I will do that in the next day or two. You're welcome, Jeanette. Take care. Bye. Okay. Let's see. Yes, it is happier there on Instagram. It's happy. It's happy on Facebook too, but Instagram is just so light and bubbly and stuff. Okay, so someone just said that they are from... Okay, Mrs. Kusi is tuning in from Ontario and wants to know if I see anything about having a baby. So that's kind of a fairy thing. So let's do that real quick from Instagram. Oh. Okay, so once again, all three major arcana cards. So the first card is Lovers. So that makes sense because this is the past, and this is having someone to help with this is kind of a critical part of having a baby. It's kind of a critical part. The next card is Ego. All right, this means get out of your head. You are too much in your head about this. If you could see this closely, you would see that these are a couple of fairies, and they are throwing into the fire things like worry and guilt and fear. They're absolutely throwing those things out of your life. It is necessary that you do that. And that's the place where you're at right now. You're in this place of worry and fear and concern about having a baby. And you kind of got to get rid of that. And finally, what happens is balance. When you get to the balance place, that's when the baby happens. And because I am being drawn very much to the lion, and so I think that you're probably going to be pregnant pretty soon because I'm feeling like it's a baby that's a Leo. All right? Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Next week on Magical Things, getting a reading is really uplifting, enlightening, and magical. At least in my opinion, it should be. However, upon occasion, one can get a reading that leaves you nervous or anxious. So next week, I'm going to talk about what to do when a reading leaves you feeling distressed. This has been Magical Things with Radleigh Valentine. Always remember, life is magic. Thank you, Michael and Rachel. Thank you.